Today we're going to show you how to make custom cabinet handles, and I'm doing this because we just built these brand new garage cabinets, and I really didn't want to put on just something that was chrome or something from the big box store. I really wanted to do a couple things. I wanted to do something that was custom, I wanted to do something that wasn't expensive, and I wanted to do something in black walnut because I always have to have a little black walnut in every single project. It's just what I do. So building these, even though it's black walnut, it's not that expensive per handle to what you would buy at a store. They're not that hard to make, to be honest, and they just look really nice. So let's show you how we did it. I started by milling down a piece of rough cut black walnut with the planer and then with the jointer. After that, I cut the handles to the width I needed in long strips. I then cut my strips a little bit longer than 12 inches, and that way I can get two handles out of each piece, and they're a little bit easier to manage when I'm routing them. So it's time to set up the router. Now I'm just using a piece of birch plywood that worked really good that I cut out an insert for, and this works fine for what I am doing now. Then I just set up my fence to the right width and I'm ready to rock and roll. Now I'm only taking off 1/8 of an inch on each pass, and that's going to help save my bit and not overwhelm the router. I did have some small 6-inch pieces that I needed to handle, but the rest are going to be 12 inches long. It took about 8 passes per handle, but it went pretty quick. Also, having my vacuum hose at the end of the table really helped cut down on the dust as I was making each pass. After cutting a groove, I put my fence at the right distance, my blade at the right height, and trimmed off the back end of the piece that I was not going to be using. So after running it through the table saw, I still have some high spots and low spots here. I didn't quite get it even. So what I'm going to do is, instead of running it this way, now I'm going to flip it and run it this way, and that will clean up just this edge right here. But I've got a nice flat spot here and a nice edge to run it along my fence, and that'll give me that nice arc right inside of here. Now I wanted to put a slight taper on these handles, so I set my miter gauge at about 5 degrees and then trimmed off the ends. So I wanted to put a slight radius on the front of these handles, so I just got out my block plane, and it made pretty quick work of getting it cleaned up and just putting a nice radius on the front as well as the top of the handle. All right, so these are ready to go and put some finish on it. My favorite finish for walnut is good old Minwax antique oil finish. And it's so good, you can't even buy it in California. That's how good it is. Try buying it in California, they don't let you for some reason. You gotta go on the black market or something. But I like putting this on. It leaves a really nice luster finish. It leaves a nice hard finish. It's really durable. So for installing these handles, I try and make this process for myself and hopefully for you as easy and painless as possible. So what I did was I cut out this, just a piece of plywood, and this is the distance I want the handle to come in, and this is the distance I want the handle from the bottom edge right here up to the bottom of my handle. And then all I have to do is flip it, and I've got the other side. And for my bottom cabinets, I'm going to flip it down like that and then flip it that way like that. It makes it super simple. You don't need any complicated tools to do this, but this is going to get it located in the perfect spot every time, right, left, top, bottom, it doesn't matter. You can also use something like this to kind of help you with the hole location, although you could just get a piece of wood and drill some small holes in it and then use an awl like this, just kind of poke that into the wood for the hole location in the door itself. So let me show you how I do this. So I really like how these turned out. I love the contrast of the black walnut against the maple. I think it looks really nice and just kind of sets it off. And they really weren't that hard to make. Just crank out a bunch at a time and sand them down. It took a little bit to just create the profile and get everything sanded, but that's probably the most time-consuming part. But I really do think it's worth it just to have a really nice, clean look and modern look to these cabinets and truly make them custom cabinets. Now, if this is the first video you're watching on the handles and you didn't see the video on the cabinets, there is a link right here so you can check out how I built these and put these up. Also, if you want to check out some other shop builds that I've done, there'll be a playlist right here, right in that area. You can check those out. And we'll see you in the next video.